Hey guys, this is RJ from the Secret Stacks, and today I wanted to talk about the problems with male characters in YA. And this is sort of a response video slash discussion extension of a video that Gretchen did over on Michaela's channel. I'll link to that down below about the question of where is the YA for boys? And her video definitely struck a chord for me in my experience because, spoiler alert, I'm a guy. And I also read YA, and there's very specific reasons why I enjoy the young adult genre, but also very other specific reasons that drive me nuts about it. Now, I don't think there's any denying that YA is gendered towards girls, and that's something that I'm actually totally okay with. In fact, I think it's a good thing. There are various pockets of fiction that really struggle incorporating strong female characters and authors. So, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with fostering a genre that allows women to thrive. It's actually a big reason why I read YA. I've never understood as a creator why you would hamstring yourself and create a story that's only 50% as good as it could be. And that's exactly what happens when you have a book that doesn't include dynamic female characters. And there's truly nothing that drives me crazier than having a book with unfulfilled potential. And that's exactly why I think I and other guys have drifted away from YA over time. I don't think an overreaction is the right word, but rather an inverse of the same mistake. Now, it's not that there aren't guys in YA, it's the fact that too often they're reduced to cliche plot devices and not well rounded characters. This is probably as good a time as any to interject here that obviously, by talking in generalities, I know there's going to be exceptions to what I'm talking about, but the fact that on the whole, a lot of this holds true is the problem. I want to tackle this in two parts, and first is in YA books with a female main character. Now, contrary to popular belief, I don't actually think that it's having girl main characters that's what throws guys off of YA. The problem is, when you've got a girl main character on the cover in a dress, it's sending a very purposeful signal to guys that, hey, this is probably going to resonate with a lot of those same problems that you've had with the genre in the past, and a repetition of the same sort of tired cliches. The brooding bad boy, the mischievous troublemaker, the cute but hopeless best friend. I could go on and on here, but I think the point is that I don't need to, because a lot of us know exactly what kind of characters I'm talking about. And beyond the cliches, the fact that a lot of the male characters are just stuck in there for plot devices is almost as bad. Male side characters end up being foils for the main character or tuning forks instead of living, breathing parts of our imagination. Now, second, there is definitely a portion of YA that has male main characters, but sometimes those are just as bad. Instead of writing dynamic characters, it feels like authors are too often writing projections of what they think or what they've been told teenage guys are like, instead of actual experiences or what resonates with a lot of potential readers. And that really comes off as especially inauthentic when you have the magnifying glass on the main character, when you have somebody and we see inside their head and they end up just being a two-dimensional piece of paper that just slowly falls to the floor. It's like too often you have authors create these little shits for main characters just because it's what they've been told the teenage guys are like, instead of any actual work being put into, okay, try to understand this group. They're always moody, they've got no friends, they complain, they're thorns in girls' sides. And it's like, even Harry Potter with J.K. Rowling, she falls into this trap in some of the middle Harry Potter books as she transitions from a middle grade age character to a teenager. She doesn't quite know what to do with him, so she makes him annoying as hell. And I understand that the cliche is there for a reason. It's coming from somewhere. And part of it is true. Sometimes teenage guys are little shits. I should know. I was one of them. But that only explains about a quarter of the teenage guy's experiences. And the rest of it, the interesting part, is brushed aside. The reality is so much more complex, and the majority of YA male fiction feels like a cop-out. Male friendships, relationships, the specific struggle, what masculinity is, and how an individual defines that for themselves, it's really complex and really interesting, but it's complicated. It's hard to do right. Guys, believe it or not, can be really dynamic in subtle and unique ways. And unfortunately, YA doesn't even begin to scrape the surface most times. So what happens? Gretchen touches on it in her video, but it's the same from my experience too. You jump straight from middle grade to adult fiction, like the Chronicles of Narnia and Harry Potter, straight to things like The Lord of the Rings, Ender's Game, Dune. And Dune's actually a really interesting example here because it's got a YA aged main character, but instead of being focused in the YA genre, it makes the main character a silo in the midst of adult characters, and therefore it's not nearly as deep as YA and the best YA often is. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of depth instead of having depth in the absolute wrong direction. Now, I'm curious what everybody else thinks based on their own experiences and their own reading, because I know those experiences are a lot different from mine. If you agree, disagree, let me know down in the comments below. When I get a little bit more time, I'm going to try to put together a list that focuses on real, authentic male experiences in YA, because I think it is something that is really interesting and an underappreciated part of the genre. But until next time, see ya.